A really big part to setting boundaries is being prepared. Prepared for what, you may ask? Preparing for them to be tested. This is the second video in a mini series that I am doing about boundaries. If you haven't watched video number 1 yet, I'm going to make sure that I link it right here. Go give that a watch because, boo, you need to be in the right mindset before we start setting boundaries. If you've already watched that video, then you are ready for this one. Let's go. A lot of the times people ask me, how do we set boundaries? What's the first step to getting boundaries? What do I do? I do not say this to discourage you, but to bring awareness. It would be extremely irresponsible of me and unethical of me for me to be like, oh yeah, once you set the boundaries, that's it, that's done, that's all you gotta do. No. Before you can even consider setting, communicating, keeping the boundaries, you have to mentally and sometimes physically prepare yourself for the fact that your boundaries are going to be tested. If this is your first time hanging out, welcome. My name is Karleigh Saunders and I'm a confidence and abuse recovery coach. I am someone who is in the abusive relationship cycle from the time I was 12 to 23 years old. I have not only found freedom and come out on the other side, but I am dedicated to helping you do the same. We're not just surviving up in here, we are thriving. Let's get into today's episode. Today, we're talking about the fact that boundaries are going to be tested. They're going to be pushback on them. And that's a part of life. And I know that that can be extremely scary. And that's a huge part of the reason why a lot of us, especially survivors, don't want to set boundaries in the first place. Because the last thing we need is another disappointment. The last thing we need is the person that we care about showing us their true colors by violating a boundary. Last year, at the time of this recording, I experienced something that I never thought would happen. I was with someone that I absolutely trusted. And next thing I knew, I realized that trust was 100% misplaced. Thank God that I was able to get out before anything had happened. But I am more than proud of myself that before this situation happened, I had already gone through this work of setting boundaries, of keeping boundaries and knowing what they are and knowing myself enough to know that if I let this slide, that anything I said to this person after that wouldn't matter. If I let this boundary go, if I wanted to save this relationship so badly that I didn't put my foot down regarding this boundary, nothing I said would matter. By letting this person do what they did it without any pushback from me, communicated that, hey, it doesn't matter what she wants. She's going to give me what I want. And I don't want that. That is not something that I wanted ever again. So thank goodness I up and left. But the reality is that I lost this person. This person was extremely important to me, someone I cared about deeply. And it's taken me a really long time to get over it. And to be completely honest, I still miss this person. Not enough to go back and not enough to continue to violate my own sense of self, but I understand the feeling. The scariest part of setting boundaries is knowing that you're going to push some people away. Or more accurately, they're going to walk away because they don't respect you enough to respect your boundaries. But I want you to really hear me here. Let the garbage take itself out. I know that's an oversimplification, but the reality is that when you set boundaries, when people push back up against your boundaries and you enforce it and you don't let them push back, if they walk away, they never respected you in the first place. They never truly cared. If they're not getting what they want, they're out, which means they don't deserve your energy anyway. You are expensive. You are a luxury item. You ain't no dollar store nonsense. You are more expensive than Gucci, than Prada, than whatever big name brand fashion is out there. I don't know. Rolex, that's another one, I think, right? I don't know these things. But you get my point. No one is going into Gucci saying, I like this bag, but I don't have no $2,000, but I got $1. They're not going, well, sure, okay, just take it. No, that person would be laughed right out of the store. If all they got is $1, they need to go to the dollar store and get a dollar store bag. If you're walking into Gucci, you need to expect to pay Gucci prices. It's the exact same thing with you. You are expensive. And if people don't want to pay the price of respect, then they do not deserve access to your energy. If they violate the terms of service, they're out, they're gone. If they cannot afford to give you the minimum of respect that you deserve, they're out. Stop giving people second, third, fourth, fifth chances. If they don't respect you, they don't deserve you. Period. End of story. What does this have to do with being prepared that your boundaries are going to be violated? You have to prepare for the fact that you're probably going to lose people. People are going to walk away. And that sucks and it hurts. The most painful realization when it comes to setting boundaries isn't even that someone's going to walk away. It's that you find out that you cared about this person so much, you put so much energy into this person, only to find out that you meant nothing to them. That sucks. And that realization is so incredibly painful. So I do not want to downplay that. I do not want to come off like I think this is easy. It's going to hurt. And that in and of itself deserves its own time to grieve, but it is 125% worth it. I still miss the person who violated my boundary. I still miss the person that hurt me. But I also know that even though it sucks to find out that I did not mean as much to this person as I thought I did. It's so much better to know it now than to find out 5, 10, 20 years in the future. We also have to be prepared for when we violate our own boundaries. Look, we're human. And because we're human, that means we are capable of humanness, which also means mistakes. Whether you bring Oreos in the house when you promised yourself you weren't going to do it anymore, knowing full well that whole package is going to be gone tonight. Whether that means unblocking a phone number that you knew you need to leave blocked. Whether that means going over to that one person's house because you're feeling some kind of way when you know you're going to regret it in the morning. Look, I am not saying any of this as permission. I am not the person to give you permission to violate your own boundaries, but I am giving you permission to give yourself grace. We're going to violate our own boundaries. We're not always going to be on top of it 100% of the time. But when we give ourselves grace and learn from the mistakes that we do make, that's powerful. So be prepared for that. And getting prepared also means setting yourself up for success. If you are scared that you're going to unblock a phone number, get yourself an accountability partner. Get yourself someone that you can send 1,010,000 snaps to instead of that person. Get yourself in a Facebook group where you're around other people who get it and you can just vent in there instead of reaching out to that person. Whatever getting prepared means, set that up. If you're afraid that by going to the store, you're going to end up with some Oreos, maybe do that thing where you can order groceries and they bring it out to you. So that way there's no impulse buying of the Oreos. Whatever you need to do, set yourself up for success. Make it as easy on your brain as possible. Another part of preparing is getting your brain ready. Getting your brain ready to accept that you need boundaries, to accept that you're allowed to have boundaries, and to accept that you should have boundaries. I've talked about this a lot in a lot of my videos, but I really, really want to hone in on the importance of self-talk and affirmations. I'm going to make sure that I link in this video the podcast episode that I did for Affirmation 101. I take you to affirmation school. Now, if you haven't watched any of my other videos and you're rolling my eyes, trust me, rolling your eyes, words, and you're rolling your eyes, I want you to truly hear me for a second. An affirmation is just something that you say that affirms a belief. If you're calling yourself stupid, that's an affirmation. If you're saying that affirmations are dumb, that's an affirmation. You're affirming the belief that affirmations are dumb. So an affirmation isn't woo-woo. This is science. And in that episode, I really go into it, which I'm not going to do here because I geek out so hard. But what I want you to do is begin to create some affirmations that are going to get you in the right headspace. Here are some examples. I'm strong enough to keep my boundaries. I am capable of setting boundaries. I'm capable of enforcing my boundaries. I deserve to have boundaries. I am worthy of respect. I am deserving of respect. I respect myself, so I keep my boundaries. In the next video, I'm going to start giving you what you're really wanting, that step-by-step information to begin to set your boundaries. But before you go, I highly recommend that you watch this video right here. It's really going to help you as you're on your self-respect boundary setting journey. And boo, you deserve that. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, and never forget that you are strong, you are capable, you are intelligent, and boo, you are so freaking worthy.